And here's the thing, your mind is the genie, your wish is its command. You see, confident people never say, I'm going to try to do that. They go, I am going to go out there and do it.
We always talk about feelings. I feel sad, I'm frustrated. It's always about the feeling. But I've got an amazing quote of yours that you broke down. Thoughts dictate feelings dictate your actions, and your actions dictate your events. But here's the thing, we always focus on the feeling, not the thought.
Yeah.
But I love that you say everything stems from there.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that.
Because people say feelings come before thoughts. No, they don't. If I had a big plate of meat in front of you, what you think about that, affects the feeling. If you're a vegan, it's disgusting. If you're a bodybuilder, it's great. If I hold up a needle, it's the thought, oh, that's going to hurt, that's going to make me look 10 years younger, that's going to make me high, I'm going to have a tattoo. So we all believe that we can't control our feelings. When you get it right, thoughts control feelings. The thought comes before the feeling. When you go backwards again, it's like, so if everything starts with a thought, it's easier to change your thoughts than to change your feelings. And if you just keep changing your thoughts, what happens is it actually starts to change your entire life. So for instance, you might have a feeling. What is it? Is it scared or is it excited? I don't know, because they feel exactly the same. If you watch someone on a roller coaster screaming, are they scared? No, excited? They don't even know. But you get to choose to go, I'm excited, I'm feeling great, or I'm terrified and I'm falling apart. And when you can start to think about what you're feeling and decide to make it feel good. I'm feeling challenged. I'm feeling all right about this. I'm feeling I can do it. I've got this tingling in my toes. What is that, terror or excitement? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to tell myself it's excitement. Then you're going to win at life all the time because you get to be in control instead of saying I'm run by my feelings.
I love that. Okay, so knowing that, how do we then start to change that thought pattern?
Well, again, everything comes, the way you feel about everything, you see, the way you feel about something is down to two things, the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. And you could even cut that down and say the way you feel is down to the words. So we use these amazing words, terrifying, it's killing me, I'm dying. And you've got to change the words. That's challenging, that's interesting, that's fascinating. And stop saying it's killing me. Oh, I look a mess, I look terrible, I've got a memory like a sieve, I'm going out of my mind. You think, oh, well, if I'm prepared to lie, why don't I just tell myself a better lie? I look a little dehydrated, I look a little sleep deprived. And when you start to tell yourself a better lie, instead of saying I'm terrified, I'm challenged, this is driving me mad, this is a situation, your whole life changes on a dime because you realize, oh, I was lying to myself and it felt real. So at least I'm going to lie to myself in a good way and it will feel real.
I love that so much. And I heard you break it down even more to the point where it's like, look, if a guy looks at a porno, he gets an erection.
Yeah.
If a woman or anyone feels embarrassed, they blush.
Yeah.
So making that the mental connection with the body is so strong. So explain to me because someone might even say, well, what's the big difference? I'm saying I could eat a horse, I'm starving. Like, why does that actually matter? Can you break that down to how your body then responds?
So the only way your mind knows how you feel is the word used. If one more guy dumps me, it will kill me. If one more client challenges me, it'll be the end of me. If one more client sends back my product, I'll kill myself. So now what my mind has worked out is that my business is killing me. If I say this job will be the death of me, this commute is killing me, this client makes me want to die, my mind, which can only work out what I'm feeling through my words, only my words, nothing but my words, will go, that place called job is killing you. My job is to keep you alive, so why don't I give you a lovely ulcer or panic attacks or a phobia? Now you can't leave the house and go to that place called job that is killing you. And I see this time and time again with clients who come in and say, you know, I've got a sensitivity, I can't leave the house. I've got sensitivity to light or all these allergies. And when we talk more, they go, when I was bullied when I was 11, what did you think? They went, well, I thought, I wish I could never leave the house. I never realized I'd make myself unable to leave the house. I thought a thought and it's become real. Because thoughts become real. As you said, when you think an emotional thought, tears leak out of your eyes and you're just watching television.
A commercial.
You think an embarrassing thought and you get embarrassed. You look at a picture that's just dots and get aroused, because thoughts are real. We all know we think about food and our stomach rumbles. We sit in the movies, I'm not hungry, but there's a picture of food. Oh, I could eat a horse, I'm starving. And these are wrong thoughts, by the way, because nobody could eat a horse, even a quarter of it. And in this country are unlikely to have ever been truly starving. So we think a thought, and every thought you think causes a physical reaction, like blushing. It also causes an emotional response. And everything goes back to thoughts. So when you can take control of your thoughts, you really can make your life extraordinary. But you have to see your mind as like a big racehorse. And you're a driver who's never been on a horse before and goes, I don't even know how to make this horse go where I want it to go. But if you have some horse riding lessons, you get on a powerful horse and you do that with your knees, you do that with your hands, and you kind of give the horse signals and it goes exactly where you want it to go. But you have to learn the signals to give the horse. I mean, the first time I rode a horse, I didn't realize it's all to do with your knees and your calves, and you're sending signals to the horse. And it's the same with the mind. You just have to understand that it's sending you signals because you sent it signals. I could never speak in public. I don't like confrontation. I can't do rejection. I could write a book, but what if everybody hated it? I could do that, but what if it went wrong? And it's like biofeedback. So if you send yourself better signals, you get better results. And now that horse will go where you want it to go, because you're driving something very powerful, but you know what to do with your knees and your hands. But the thing about the brain that we really should be taught in school is that we are hardwired to return to what is familiar and to resist what is unfamiliar. So if you've never had praise, no one's ever said, oh my God, you're so great, look at you, but said, oh, you'll never amount to anything. When someone says, wow, you're great, what are you talking about? I haven't even combed my hair. Oh, this thing, I've had it for 5 years. It was secondhand. And if we've never had praise and it's unfamiliar, we reject it and add in what is familiar, the criticism. And that's the most damaging thing. I see people who can't accept praise. Hey, I read your book. It was terrible, wasn't it? No, it was great. Didn't you notice the spelling mistake? No. I came to see you speak. Oh, did you notice I got it all wrong? I stuttered on it. No. Oh, well, let me tell you then how bad I was. And just getting those people to stop criticizing themselves and to praise themselves a lot is transformational. But it's so important to see that we're wired to return to what's familiar. That's a fact. But here's another fact. You can make anything you like familiar. Because if you couldn't, you'd still be peeing in your pants. You'd still be trying to eat a banana and getting it in your ear or your hair. People get rid of really good stuff if it's unfamiliar, which is why 70% of lottery winners are dead broke in 3 years. If you are not used to money and you get it, it's almost guaranteed you'll get rid of it all. Because A, you didn't feel you earned it, but B, it's just not familiar.
Oh, there's so much you just said there. So I've heard a lot, like everyone goes back to the familiar.
Yeah.
So there's actually two things there. There's one of how do you identify what that familiar is so that you can change it.
Yeah.
And then second of all, some people go the opposite way. So for instance, my mum was brought up in a convent with nuns.
Yeah.
And at a very young age, I mean, they were very strict, right?
Of course.
And so at a very young age, she said to herself, when I have kids, I'm going to give them every ounce of love. And she completely switched into the complete opposite. So A, what is even happening there? And is there a way of getting them when they're young? Or is it just, you just have to, as you get older, recognize when something isn't serving you and then do what you're saying?
Well, it's a bit of both, actually. When you get older and you're thinking a thought, you have to stop and think, hey, where did this thought come from? Who gave me this thought? And why am I thinking this thought? Like my grandmother, if you walked into the house with a packet of Tampax in your hand, that she would go bright red and go, no, put that away. Nobody wants to know about that. That was like something so dirty and forbidden, and you never mentioned the P word. And now we're a generation where it's totally normal. So stop and ask the question, why do I believe this belief? Who told me that belief? What did they know? Where did they learn it? And so question where these beliefs come from and then just give them up. And the second thing about some people naturally rebellious, well, some people are, because remember, the nuns didn't give birth to your mother, they just raised her. So she had a home life and a school life, and often they're very conflicted. And we often think, when I grow up, I'm going to do the opposite. You either end up doing exactly the same or the polar opposite. Often it's better to do the opposite.
Yeah. I've actually heard you say there are 3 things that really a child needs: feeling loved, feeling significant, and having purpose.
Yeah.
What have you noticed in people that haven't had all 3 of those?
Yeah. Children have very simple needs, and your job is to meet those needs. Doesn't matter how much organic broccoli you give them or teach them Mandarin. If you're not meeting your child's needs for significance and safety and being proud of them, then you haven't really succeeded. I know that's hard to hear, and certainly as a parent, I got so much of it wrong. But when the need isn't met, we go into the world and 2 things happen. First, we have a belief. I never felt safe. I never felt loved. I never felt I mattered. And we have a tag. It will always be that way. It will be that way for the rest of my life. That's the first thing. The second thing is, because our parents couldn't meet our need, we become needy. We go, hey, Lisa, could you make me feel good about myself? Could you be my new best friend and tell me I'm great? Or, hey, could you date me or employ me? And could you do the job of filling up my unmet needs? We'll go, sure, I could do that. I'll be your new best friend or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. But in 3 years, I'm moving on. I'm going to find someone taller than you, younger than you, so I can do that for a while. And then the minute they leave, or maybe they pass away, we're back to going, oh, I've got to find someone else and go, hey, could you now take this need? But when you sit back and go, okay, what's my need? I never felt significant. Can I do it? Because the best thing you can do to yourself, bar none, is to sit down and write out, okay, I want to feel significant. I want to feel I matter. I want to feel my parents are proud of me. So I'm going to sit and go, hey, I'm significant, I matter, my parents are proud of me. Say it over and over and over again. And it's so weird, it happens so fast. So now the bit that was empty is filled, but nobody can ever take it away because you did it.
I love that so much. So you were saying, so you say it, and then are there things that you can put in place to say, like, okay, I want to feel significant, so I'm going to do this because that's what's going to make me feel significant?
It's more important to just say, I am significant. Okay. You see, when you quantify, I'm lovable because I'm a size 8. I'm lovable because I'm important because I'm earning money. I'm significant because I've got this job. So it has to be you, not what you do or wear or own or buy, not what you add in or take away. There's nothing to be snipped off or injected in or dyed in or bleached in. It has to be, I am significant now. So when I was growing up, my father was this headmaster. My brother went to private school. He was the smart one. My sister was the beautiful little baby, and I just felt like this thing, this blob. I didn't feel attractive or smart because my brother he had the smart role. My sister had the cute role, so I just didn't have a role. And interesting, those people tend to be the carer, so that wasn't surprising. But one day I realized that I wanted to be the favorite, so I started to go, I'm the favorite, I'm the favorite, I'm the favorite. Started to say it, and of course the thing with the mind is it doesn't know if that's true or not, and it really doesn't care. Whatever you say to your mind, it lets in. I'm an idiot, I'm so smart. I'm unlovable, I'm magnetically lovable. It doesn't stop to think, is that real? It just lets it in. So the most amazing that happened is I just written my first book and I did an interview somewhere like the New York Times, and my name was everywhere, and suddenly my dad was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Oh my God, you're my favorite child. I even said that word, and I thought, do you know, this is so weird. I've wanted this my whole life, and now I've got it. It didn't mean a thing. I'm thinking, actually, now I feel uncomfortable because this is so rude to my brother and sister. They haven't done anything to deserve being ignored. And then the penny clicked. Oh, you see, I've done it myself for so long that now he's doing it is very much surplus to requirements. What I wanted my whole life When I got it, I didn't need it, and it didn't mean what I thought it would mean because I'd already done it years before. And so you might as well tell yourself amazing stuff because it's very likely to become real. Same thing, sadly, with negative stuff. It's like, I can't do it, I can do it. You know, I was at the CNN Tower in Toronto several years ago, and they have a whole glass floor. And I walked around, and people were like, freak out, crying, sitting on the floor, going, I can't do it, because they were all looking down. But the floor is completely safe. It's the picture you make of falling. Many people walk to the edge of a building and their stomach drops, even though there's a plate glass window, because of the pictures you make. And you can only go up high and do stuff when you make a different picture. This is completely safe, this is fine, this is exciting, this is thrilling, I love this, I am safe. I'm safe here. But if you say the opposite, I'm not safe, I'm going to fall, I'm going to die, then you're actually terrifying yourself only with one thing: the thoughts you're thinking, the words you're putting in your head, the pictures you're making.
Yeah, that's so strong. And I didn't actually really know all of that when I first got married. But even when my husband and I first got married, we always swore we wouldn't even joke about divorce. We call it the D word in the family. And it was almost like, it was just one of those things that it just didn't feel right to even tease each other in a lighthearted way. And after hearing everything you're saying, like, it all makes very much sense, because I'm telling myself, by not even saying that word, based on everything that you're saying, that to me, divorce, and it's not that it's not an option, because if my husband laid a finger on me or cheated on me, I would divorce him in a heartbeat.
Sure.
So I've told him it is an option, but apart from that, it isn't an option.
Yeah.
Like, he gets really badly burned. He gets paralyzed. Like, to me, divorce isn't an option. Like, so we just know that, and it's kind of like a reminder of our connection that it can't be broken.
Yeah, and you're so clever, because I saw so many clients who tell me this same story. My mum used to pack her bags, walk out the door, I'm not coming back. My mum left me in a store, obviously drove around and came back, but she told me she would leave me if I didn't shape up. I'll leave you, I'm off if you don't behave. And I saw the damage that did. And I remember when I got married, saying, I'll never say to my husband, I'm leaving you if you do that. I'm off if you do that. If you do that again, I'm divorcing you. Because it's a game you play, but you absolutely threaten a relationship when you threaten to leave, when you say to your kid or your partner or even your friends, well, I don't like you if you're doing that, so I'm going to leave you. Never threaten to leave unless you really want to leave. Don't play games. Be honest. Tell people what you want, especially in a relationship. What do you want? People say, well, I don't want to say in case I get rejected. Then you get rejected because, well, I never knew you wanted that. You never told me. I never knew I disappointed you in bed. I had no idea that every time I didn't stack the dishwasher, you were seething inside. I didn't know it bugged you so much. So you have to have enough of yourself to go, hey, this is what I want. And this is because in relationships, women especially think the perfect guy is psychic. He knows what to do in bed. He knows exactly what gift to get you. He knows you're having a bad day and it's your period. And then when he doesn't, you go, he doesn't care. See, now we're lying to ourselves. This is another lie. He doesn't care because he forgot my birthday. He doesn't care because I'm on my period, and he doesn't even understand I'm in pain. He doesn't care. So that's a lie. It's like, oh, he does care, he just doesn't understand. And you have to tell people, hey, this is a need I have. This is important to me.
So when you're saying he doesn't care, what is that actually doing internally to you on how that, like, how does that actually affect the relationship?
Yeah, so the minute you tell yourself a lie or a story, my partner doesn't care because he's always home late. He doesn't care because he eats this lovely dinner, doesn't even put his plate in the sink. You're telling yourself a story, but you see, now you've put the word in your head. He doesn't care, she doesn't, they don't care. And now it's becoming real. And remember, we've gone back again to the way you feel is down to the thoughts you think. They don't care about me. So, you know, one day my husband, I mean, he's absolutely lovely, but he would sometimes go to bed, he'd just go to bed. And one day I said to him, you know, I know you love me, but when you go to bed and don't even lock the doors, I feel really uncared for. I like to be protected. And that work now every night locks all the doors, checks everything, because I didn't go, I know you don't care about me. you just go to bed and leave me here because you don't love me and you don't care. I said, I know you care and I know you'd love me to feel safe. So would you do this? And we still often have to start with, I know you care about me. I know I'm important to you. Would you please put your phone on when I'm telling you something important? My husband says to me, would you please turn your phone over when I'm talking to you? Because it's a two-way thing. Would you shut the lid of your computer? So when you have a sense of yourself and can tell people, they tend to do it, because most men want to please their partners, most women want to please their partners. But if you don't tell people, now you tell yourself, they don't care. They're so thoughtless, they're so selfish, they're so whatever they are. And now you filled up your head again. It always comes back to the way you feel is down to the words you're saying. When you could just say, well, look, I know they care, so why are they doing this? Well, maybe they really don't know. You know, one of my clients, every year her husband is searching to recycling. He gave her the same Christmas card. He just put it back every year and re-gave it to her until she said, that's it. I'm about to recycle you. If I get one more recycled card, you're going to get recycled next. But he had no idea that it bothered her. He thought it was a great idea. Why buy another one? Why put all that paper into landfill? It's got a nice message. She likes it. Just give it to her every year. And sometimes we wait so long to tell people, that really drives me crazy. You have to be super honest with what you want. But then, to be honest, you have to have a sense of yourself that, well, I'm worthy of expressing my needs. Surely I deserve telling people what I need, then they can meet my needs. But we're so scared of rejection. That's the biggest thing I see with people. We are, 500 years ago, the thing that would kill you apart from hunger was rejection. We lived in big groups. Took a whole tribe to be safe. They had to man the fort or man the little tribal gathering, and you could not survive on your own. And if you messed up and they banished you or cast you out, now you're on your own in the wilderness. That's it, you're pretty much finished. So we have this fear that rejection will kill us. It won't. It feels like it will, but it won't. So rejection is a tool that we understand. We're wired to be terrified of it. And all the things we do are to get it, to get people to like us. And we've forgotten that now that it doesn't kill us, if you can just like yourself, you'll never feel rejected, ever. Doesn't mean people won't leave you, but you won't feel like you're going to die from rejection.
Yeah. I've heard you talk about where you ask people what lies beneath.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So I always tell people, if you want to be a great therapist, remember that the presenting problem is not the problem. Here am I, and I'm addicted to sugar. Here am I, I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic. You need to look for what lies beneath. And we teach all of our graduates to look for what lies beneath and treat that. Because if you treat alcoholism, okay, you came in, you're alcoholic, I fixed that. But now they still have the same feeling that made them drink, which is almost always, I'm not enough. And if I'm not enough, I need more. I need more alcohol, more drugs, more food, more sex, more shopping, more something, more praise. And when you treat the I am not enough and I am enough, all the offshoots of I'm not enough, the hoarding, the shopping, the binging, go away anyway. So I'm always looking at what lies beneath. Here comes a person saying, I can't find love. I need to lose weight, or I need to do something. I need to change how I look. And usually that's not the problem. Here comes someone that says, I've got all these self-destructive habits and I sabotage myself. Can you just fix that? Well, I could. But why do you sabotage yourself? And then when you peel away the layers, up comes the truth. I feel not good enough. I'm so scared of failing. But if I sabotage myself, I can say, you know what, I coulda, woulda, shoulda. But you see, I had this sabotaging. I was always 30 pounds over. I had this drinking problem. And that's why I could never find love or be a success. But what lies beneath is the real truth. I'm unlovable. I'm not enough. And that's why I can never find love or be a success. But let me just find something to blame it on, and it's a little less painful. that the real what lies beneath is I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm not lovable. So I always treat what lies beneath, because when you do that, you fix someone forever, and it's so nice. And not only that, those people become better parents, better partners, better friends, better employees, better employers. So it has a really lovely ripple effect.
Where does role, function, and purpose fit into RTT? How can we use that?
Role, function, and purpose is actually, even with tiny children, it's really talking about what is the role of this illness. You've had it for years, it doesn't appear to want to go away, it keeps coming back. Obviously there's some reason why it's there. Every time I had to go to my dad's for the weekend, I didn't like him, I got these terrible migraines until I couldn't go. My parents expected me to be so good at exams, and then I got these terrible panic attacks, couldn't go to school anymore. No one expected me to pass the exam. So now they're beginning to see that their issue had a role and a function and an intention. It had a job. And you go, okay, so yeah. So we had a girl who had such bad migraines that began when her father began to tell her job was to take over the family law firm. She said, I don't want to be a lawyer. Well, you must be. I've paid for your education. You're my only child. If I had a son, he would have done it. Oh, now I've got to be a lawyer. But when she started to get chronic migraines, but you'd be lucky if you'd be a waitress. You couldn't possibly be a lawyer. It's like, oh, got out of that. And even tiny children, I worked with this little boy who had contact dermatitis everywhere. Well, every night I stand like that and Mummy puts bandages, cream and wet bandages on my body, and while she's putting them on, it takes so long, to doesn't put any cream on that baby. So now you unpick that. He doesn't want to put cream on the baby, he wanted to put cream on him. It doesn't take a genius to work out that at some stage he said, Mummy, can I have a massage? No, it's just for the baby. Mummy, can you put cream in? No, you're grown up. And he thought a thought. I want Mummy to put cream on me. And here's the thing. Your mind is the genie. Your wish is its command. I want Mummy to put cream on me. The genie's like, I do that. Now you've got dermatitis. Mummy's putting lots of cream on you. Maybe you've got psoriasis. And the genie doesn't think, shall I find a good way, a logic? It just finds a way. But then you just have to talk to the genie better, and it will find a better way.
Yeah, God, I love the way you think. I love the way you break it down. In just me researching you, so this is the second time that we've done an interview together. Well, third time really, because you interviewed me.
Yeah, I did.
And in diving deep into you this time, as I was listening to you talking about these different things, I had a realization. I'm like, I've been in this space for years, and I only had a realization because you breaking it down like that. I started to really think about myself, and I was just reflecting, okay, what does this mean? I used to get bullied for my looks when I was a teenager. And so I've definitely attached worthiness to looks. But it never occurred to me until I was hearing you talk about really young kids. When I was really young, I was so freaking cute. And and people used to say, you get away with murder. Yeah. You want to talk about words? Growing up, literally from the age of like 3 to the age of like probably 6, I was told every day, you're so cute, you're gonna get away with murder, you're so cheeky, I could do naughty things. And my mom, oh, she's so cheeky. And then at the age of 6, I started to change. I then hit puberty. I started getting the frizzy hair. I started getting the moustache. I started getting the unibrow, and everything went away. And not only was I not getting any attention, I was getting the opposite.
Yeah.
And so as I was hearing you talking and breaking things down from how things go from even just like a real young child to your teenage years to your adult years, I've carried that with me in the attachment of your looks were then equate to worth, and if you don't have the looks, then you're not worthy. And it wasn't until the last, let's say 5 years that I've done my own mental work and everything that you're saying to change that. But it never dawned on me that I had the 2 flips from the kid to the teenage years.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful what you say around children. It's like people say, you're so lovely, I could eat you. What a weird thing for a parent to say. Oh, yeah, your kid is great. Yeah, come at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can have him. We say really strange things in front of our kids, and it really freaks them out. I nearly died having you. It killed me. You've got to be so careful because so many of us don't understand that before 5, there's no logic, just feeling. A child doesn't have logic. So when dad says, well, I still love you, but I'm leaving mummy, they hear, I don't love you. You've got to be so careful. They're so easily rejected. Why can't you draw inside the lines like your brother? Your sister didn't get food all over the floor. And then you get teachers going, oh, I had your sister. The brains ran out when they got to you. And children hear so many wounding things. We can't make it perfect.
Sure.
But you have to, as a parent, say to your kid, look, you're special just the way you are. You don't have to be good at maths, or don't compare yourself to other people, just be you.
And as an adult, then, you think it's important to go that far back to the 5-year-old self? Because I hear a lot now, people are talking about the inner child.
Oh yeah, beyond that, you can go back to, I've worked with so many people with unexplained infertility, which is a fascinating label because it means it's unexplainable. Your ovaries are great, your womb's great, your husband's sperm is like military grade sperm, swims straight, there's tons of it. So your infertility is unexplained. But then people would come in and we'd always go back to the genie and the wish, and they'd often say things like, yeah, it's so bizarre. I can remember my mother carrying me on her hip and say, it was awful, I nearly died, I bled for 3 days, it was never again. Or my mother would say later, oh yes, that you ruined my body, I was in agony after I had you, I cried for 5 days, I got postnatal depression. And a child thinks, I don't want to go through that. And so many times when we're babies, we're sponges. Babies pick up everything. They're pure sensation. They pick up the tone of your voice. They pick up the look on your face. And I was doing a group session once, and this very successful city guy started to sob and sob and sob. And he said, every time my dad changed my diaper, he'd make a face. He'd go, oh, this is disgusting. He said, and I really felt he didn't love me. I always felt disconnected. I just worked with somebody recently for my book who said that when her mum was pregnant with a second baby, her father put a gate up so she couldn't get out of her bedroom and come and get into bed with her mother, which she always did. And he said, no, you can't go in mummy's arms. He thought she would dislodge the new baby. And he was very concerned that she must get used to not being in mum's arms. And then suddenly the new babies come and she's behind this stair gate she can't get. And she said, I've always felt this anger towards my dad, and I never knew why. He's a lovely guy, but I've been so angry with him. I started to really act out as a teenager to punish him, and I never knew. It's because when I was 2, I couldn't express the rage. I just knew it was his fault. He got between me and my mum, and I internalized it. It's really interesting how you can really go back to being tiny, which shouldn't be surprising because before 5, you are pure feeling. All you can do is feel. But don't feel that. Don't get angry. Don't cry. I'll smack you if you cry. I'll punish you if you're angry. Then we think, what can I do with these feelings? So we just have to internalize them.
That's so fascinating, especially because we started talking about the feelings that come from the words that you use in your head, but thinking about being a kid and not even having words to use, so your feelings are being attached to words that other people are saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's
honestly,
so
I'd be
confusing.
petrified to have children. Oh my God, using this word's going to mess them up. Obviously, that's not a reason to not have kids.
All you have to do with kids is own it and go, darling, I messed up today. They know life isn't perfect. It's not about that. It's about you owning your mistakes and saying, you're allowed to make a mess. You're allowed to break stuff. You're allowed to be age appropriate. You're running in the park, I shout, stop. You wouldn't expect your puppy to stop until the 3rd time. And so why would you expect your kid to stop? They do age appropriate. They get food on the floor. They mess up. And it's really about forgiving them, forgiving yourself, but always saying that was my fault. I messed up today. You deserve better. And then they're completely okay.
Because you're teaching them that it's okay to mess up.
Yeah, it's okay they can mess up, which then means that you can mess up. Because if you don't expect them to be perfect, they won't expect you to. I mean, so many parents do the wildest things like, my kid can't answer back. Well, good luck with that when some 15-year-old says, let's have sex in the back of the car, because you've taught them they can't say no. my kid doesn't answer back, so what are you going to do when their friend says, let's go shoplifting? It's fun, come on. Someone's going to offer your kid drugs. If you don't allow them to argue back and to have an opinion, how are they going to have an opinion? That's why they get really unbearable when they're like 15, because they're learning to argue back. So that when someone says, let's take drugs, let's get wasted, let's go and steal someone's credit card, you want to have the one that goes, you know what, that doesn't feel good for me. Because you've allowed them to have an opinion. When you change your language, you change your entire life. You see, confident people never say, I'm going to try to do that. They go, I am going to go out there and do it. And one of the biggest problems with people who lack inner confidence, or what you might call self-confidence, is that they have very negative self-talk. And this is really important, because the way you feel about anything at all in every situation is really down to just two things: the pictures you make in your head, and indeed the words you say to yourself. It's hard to believe that something as simple as changing your language would actually change your reality, but I can promise you that absolutely is the truth. So let's do an exercise. I want you to think about the words you use when you're talking to yourself, because we all talk to ourselves on a daily basis. Do you say things like, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm such an idiot, I've got rocks for brains, I knew that wouldn't work out, everything I touch goes wrong, I can't seem to keep a job, a partner? Do you say things like, I'm not good at this, I'm scared of that, I'm worried I'll mess it up, I've got a terrible memory, I've got a memory like a sieve? And it's not even that, it's actually even saying things like, oh, I dream of this, this is my dream, this is my fantasy, I wish I could drop 10 pounds, if only I could get a promotion, I dream of having my own business. A dream and a hope and a wish are not real. People who are successful go, I am creating my own business, I'm dropping 10 pounds, I'm doing stuff to attract the love of my life. They don't live in wishing, hoping. They live in taking the right action to make that happen. And the right action begins with how you talk about yourself. How is your self-talk? Is it negative? Is it positive? Is it full of wishful thinking? And if only I would, but I could, but, you know, I nearly did that, but. Or can you acquire positive inner talk, which gives you a positive outer you? You see, when you use negative words, disempowering words, you feel disempowered. When you say, I'll try it, I'll give it a try, I'm trying to drop 5 pounds, I'm trying to get a startup, even the words I'm trying to make a baby, the very word try is a misnomer, because trying implies failure. If someone said, hey, I'm going to make a lovely dinner, you can go, well, I'll try and make it. I'll try. They go, well, are you coming or not? I don't know. I'm just going to try. Trying doesn't ever imply success. In fact, it frequently implies failure. So think about your heroes. Think about Nelson Mandela or Muhammad Ali. Do you think Muhammad Ali said, I'm trying to be the greatest? No, what he said was, I told myself I was the greatest before I was the greatest, and then something amazing happened. I became the greatest. Nelson Mandela said, all my country are in a jail of one form or another, and I will leave this jail as the president of my country. He didn't say, I'm going to try to do it. I hope I can. I think about it. I wish for it. And he said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave this prison cell as the president of my country. And he did. People who succeed use firm, strong, powerful, present, exciting, dynamic words. I will do this. I am creating this. I am unstoppable. I'm moving towards success. I'm doing it. I can, I will, I always, I am. And they hardly ever go, I wish, I hope, I dream. Elon Musk doesn't talk about wishing. I'm going to wish that I could have an electric car. No, he's making it. He has phenomenal self-belief. Even if he didn't, if he used the wording that describes phenomenal self-belief, guess what happens? You will acquire phenomenal self-belief. So try this for yourself right now. Close your eyes and keep them closed and say things like, oh, I'm not good at that. I'm awful at that. I'm scared of that. I'm useless at. Just think of something you're worried about. I'm no good with computers. I'm no good with people. I'm not good at talking to strangers. I've got a terrible sense of direction. I can't even follow a map. Try saying that now and just notice how you feel. And think of something you want. Could be anything at all. And I want you to go, I wish I could have, and name what that thing is. I wish I could have it. I'm dreaming of having it. I'm longing for it. I want it so much. I hope, really, really hope I can do it. And now think of the same thing that you would like to have and say, I am acquiring that. I am achieving that. I can make that happen. I do whatever it takes. So it can be something as simple as I want to give a presentation, or maybe I want to drop 5 pounds. Imagine if you said, oh, I wish I could be a good speaker. I really dream about the day I could give a presentation. I hope when I give a presentation, I can just keep it all together without blushing. It's my fantasy, my dream, my wish to be a presenter. Or maybe you could go, I would love to be 5 pounds lighter. It's my wish to be in a different dress size. I dream about having this great body and I hope I can pull it off. Close your eyes, think those thoughts and use those actual words for anything you like, just not being a presenter or dropping 5 pounds. And now change the words to, I am a presenter already. I do whatever it takes to become and to stay an amazing presenter. I've got what it takes. I willingly learn how to be even better. I'm excited. I'm passionate. I'm committed. I can do it. I am doing it. I do it. And with the weight, I am dropping 5 pounds. It's easy because I know what to do and I'm committed, disciplined, dedicated, on fire about doing it. And then just open your eyes and notice how different you feel when you change. I wish, I hope, if only one day, to I am making this happen, taking all the right actions willingly, happily. I'm thrilled, I'm on fire, I'm passionate. You see, one turn of phrase excites your imagination. The other says, well, keep wishing because you're never going to do it. Go on hoping because that's the best you can ever be. Never use the word try. Trying is very, I'm going to try to be a success. I'm going to try to make more money. When you say, I am monetizing a gift I have and I am making a phenomenal sum because I'm talented and engaging and smart and people love my product, it's very different to I'm trying to make more money. So notice the difference you feel and then notice that is down to you. You get to choose. How did you feel when you were using negative self-talk? You probably felt powerless, disempowered, hopeless. And how did you feel when you were using positive language? You probably thought, wow, I feel empowered. I feel confident. I feel I'm on the right path. It's a little change you can make. But please don't diminish the fact that the change may be small and quite easy, but the effects of that change are powerful beyond belief. So that change is yours to make. The change in how you speak, the change in the pictures you make, and the change in who you become and who you are all down to you. And it's not difficult to do this at all. Because when you repeat this on a daily basis, it becomes who you are. Muhammad Ali didn't say once, hey, I'm the greatest me. I float like a butterfly, I sting like a bee. He said it over and over again until we all believed Muhammad Ali is the greatest. In fact, he didn't win every fight, and yet we still think of him as undefeatable because of the language he used, because of his charismatic way of believing in himself, which made all of us believe in him too. And you can do that as effectively as he did. It's a matter of deciding. Deciding is a Latin word that means to cut off from, decide, to stop, to ban, to end negative language, and to wire in and fire in positive language. The fastest way to change negative thoughts and feelings is to change the words that run those negative thoughts and feelings. Imagine saying, I'm depressed or I'm exhausted. Change that to, well, I'm a little stressed and I'm certainly a little tired, but tomorrow I'm bouncing back. I'm out of control. I'm just a big fat pig and I'm eating like a train wreck. That's not even true. Change the words. I've decided to take action about what I eat, how I look, how I feel. I can't find love. There's no love. That's not true. You are surrounded by people that could have a loving relationship with you. How about saying, I magnetically attract love into my life. I'm warm, I'm loving, I'm lovable, I'm out in the world, and wherever I am, I could be in the store, but I'm attracting the love of my life to me. See, when you use powerful words, they send a powerful instruction to your mind. I can't do it, I can do it. I'm unlovable, I'm super lovable. I'm not enough, I'm so enough. Look at your negative words, flip them over and always say the positive. The words you speak are a blueprint that your mind and body work to make real. I ate too much, now I'm going to be fat. I ate a lot, I got a great metabolic rate, it will just burn that off. I didn't wash my hands and I'm probably going to get sick now. I have a fantastic immune system. It knows how to fight bugs and germs. You have so much power to feel good if you just decide to use better words. Listen to yourself. Ask your friends, hey, what do I say all the time? Well, you say it's a disaster. It's a nightmare. This is killing me. I'm so stressed. We don't even notice the words we're saying until we listen to ourselves. Oh my God, I can't believe I speak to myself like that. Somebody said to me, you know, I heard you speak and it was so amazing. I've had painful feet my whole life. You know what I say every day? I just can't stand it. I can't stand it when my kids don't put the lids on jars. I can't stand it when my husband doesn't put his laundry in the laundry box. I can't stand it when people are late. And I stopped saying that. I have never had painful feet since, because that was her blueprint. Every time she said she couldn't stand it, she couldn't stand it. Every time you say it's making me sick, I'm going to get sick, it's killing me, it's driving me crazy, it's making me insane, I can't stand it, I can't take it, it's too much, I'm so depressed, I'm so down. Stop it. Flip that over. It's a challenge. It's a situation. I am tired. My kids are a challenge. But they don't stay like that for very long. And anyway, if you have phenomenal coping skills, you'll rise up to meet every challenge. They'll still leave the lids off jars. Your husband will still leave his pants on the floor. But you know what? It won't bother you. Don't try to change them. Change your words. I promise you, it will change your life. The second way to get out of a rut is to really understand your primitive brain, your ancestral brain. We have modern bodies, but we have primitive thinking. And our primitive thinking is if you can't fight and you can't flee, then you should just freeze. And years ago, we'd see a lion and we'd get into a complete panic. We'd either stand completely still or we'd run. And today we look at our inbox and go, oh no, look at all this stuff. And we can't fight it. And we can't flee, and we freeze again. We can't run away from a boss, a difficult client, a child who's going through an issue. So we freeze and say things like, oh, I can't cope with this, it's the end of the world. When you can't fight and you can't flee, you can flow by saying, this too will pass. Right now, I'm ill. And by the way, never say I'm sick. You're not sick. You have a minor illness. I'm ill. It will pass. I'm tired today. It will pass. I've had an argument with someone I love, but it will pass. Everything will get back on track. So remember, you are wired, hardwired, super wired to freeze when you can't fight and you can't flee. But that's from being on the prairie and being around dangerous animals, knowing if I stand completely still and do nothing like a rabbit in the headlights, I'm safer. But you're not supposed to freeze when you look at your inbox, when you look at your to-do list, when you look at your house, your chores, your kids. You're supposed to flow through it, to do it a bit at a time, to chunk things down, to say, hey, I can cope with all of this. I don't need to run away. I don't need to run. I can stay here and power through this because I have phenomenal coping skills. So understand your wiring. Understanding your wiring makes life so much easier. Another way to get out of a rut is to practice gratitude. Gratitude is the highest frequency that you can resonate at. And whatever is going on in your life, your partner is annoying you, your children are a challenge, your job is a challenge, your situation is a challenge. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to know that someone in the world looks at your life and says, that is my fantasy dream come true. I would swap places. When you have a kid that keeps you up all night, I'd give anything for that. You've got a husband or a wife that's messy or late or forgets your birthday. I would love that. You have to do a long commute, change trains, sit on the freeway. I would love to have a car and a job. So your problem when you see it as someone else's fantasy dream come true, when you think, what would you have given 10 years ago to have a home? Yes, things go wrong. You're a homeowner. You've always got your hand in your pocket, but you own a home. Yes, you have a child that worries you, but you have a child. You have love in your life. What would you have given 10 years ago, 20 years ago for this problem? I had a time when I was working on American television and English television simultaneously. I commuted every 2 weeks, go to LA, come back. My case was always packed. People say, oh my God, that's so awful. I'm like, awful? Awful? It's amazing. I have got a job on 2 television shows, one in America, one in England. I never saw it as awful. I saw it as a gift, an opportunity, a great experience. Plus, I knew it wouldn't last forever. You see, when something is permanent, it will get you. I got to commute to LA every 2 weeks. That would have been a challenge, but it wasn't permanent. I knew it would have an ending. It wasn't all the time in my life, and whatever is stressing you, if it has an ending, when your child grows up, when your boss stops being difficult, when you get out of the situation you're in, then it has an ending and it won't bother you anymore. The fourth way is to change the pictures in your head. If you wake up full of doom and gloom, I know I'm going to be late. I know it's going to be a disaster. I know they won't have the thing in the store I'm going to get. I know I won't be able to get parked. I know it won't work out. Why would you go anywhere knowing it won't work? Change the pictures. They'll have exactly what I want in exactly my size. This is going to work out perfectly. Everything is working out perfectly. Make better pictures. If you go to the gym, for instance, make a picture of your body loving working out. If your picture is, well, you know, life's so hard and life's so difficult, change that picture. I wake up in the morning and every day is a great day. There is always something to make my day great. If you have somewhere to live, something to do, someone to love, and enough to eat, you're already in a very, very fortunate place. So make better pictures. Be grateful for where you are. And finally, be kind to yourself. One of the major causes of depression is not a chemical imbalance in your brain at all. It is harsh, hurtful, critical words that you say to you on a daily basis. Please don't do that. Stop that now. If I could prove to you that your harsh, hurtful words cause you to be depressed and anxious and get in a rut, then surely you would stop them. If you spoke to a friend the way you spoke to yourself, oh, look at the state of me, I'm such a mess, I'm such an idiot, I'm such a loser. It all goes wrong. Everything I touch, I mess up. I just can't get this right. I'm deadwood. I've got rocks for brains. I'm so stupid. I'm an idiot. If you spoke to your friend the way you speak to yourself, they would be long gone. Be a friend to yourself. Practice kindness. Be nice. Yeah, I messed something up today, but it's okay. Tomorrow, I would do better. I learned something. I learned not to rush, to leave myself more time to practice, to be prepared. Today, I ate complete garbage because I was busy and I was at work. And tomorrow, I know to take with me a can of tuna fish, a bag of nuts, a juice, a shake, even a powder shake that I can make up in my office because I learned something today. When I don't have the right food, I just eat candy bars. Tomorrow, I'll do better. So be kind, be nice. Today I was so stressed because I didn't have enough time and I was in a panic and I was rushing. Everything was going wrong. Tomorrow, I'll get up earlier. I'll prepare. You can only learn by your mistakes. So use these 5 tips, these 5 techniques. Be kind to yourself. Practice gratitude. Put new pictures in your mind. Use new words, and remember, when you can't fight and you can't flee, you can flow. You will always have another day to do better, feel better. Life is amazing. Life is a gift. 33 years of being a therapist, I might work with a movie star, an Olympic athlete, or someone who's a school teacher, and they all have the same problem. And the problem is almost always I'm not enough. I mean, I've worked with so many addicts, thousands of addicts. I've never met one who ever thought they're enough. They'll say, you know, I drink because I'm not enough. I use because I'm not enough. I am addicted to spending because I'm not enough. And what I see many therapists doing is the client comes in with a list, like what I call a shopping list. I need to stop drinking. I need to get out of bed. I need to stop shouting at my kids. I need to take care of myself. And they like to go through the list. It takes a long time. I go, oh, forget the list. Let's look at what I call what lies beneath. You know your problem? You think you're enough. Where does that, do you know, and a baby who's ever been born, because I shouldn't cry because I don't deserve attention here. I shouldn't throw up on this white top my mum just bleached. No baby is ever born believing they're not enough. And so, again, we look at where does this come from, this belief you're not enough? Who told you that? Where did you get that? And when they go, oh, yes, it came from here, it's a game changer because they start to tell them, I'm enough. People say, but if I'm enough, don't I just lie on the couch and eat potato chips all day? No. When you know you're enough, then you go, right, I need a better relationship than this, a better career than this, a better health than this. So
why do you think that is a true movement for that? Because one thing that I struggle with the notion of somebody just telling themselves that they're enough.
Yeah.
I get the underlying power of repetition,
Yes.
the importance of the words, and it feels like a very good foundation that the person then can build from. But where I struggle is I know that a lot of times people don't believe it.
Yeah.
And so if they don't ever then take those next steps of learning something or pushing themselves or doing something difficult, the words will ring hollow.
Yeah.
How do you help people establish meaning behind?
Well, I wrote a book called I'm Enough, and we have a program called I'm Enough. And what that does is it takes you the process of where does this come from? You're not born with this belief. How did you get it? And when they discover how they got it, they're able to give it up. One of my first ever clients was this beautiful woman, very hard to believe. And she said, I can never make a relationship last. And it sounds so silly, but she said that her dad used to say to her every day, you'll never ever find anyone that loves you like me. Nobody could love you like me. You'll never find the kind of love that I have. And he programmed, when you label someone, you limit them. So now she's got an imprint. I'm never going to find love like this love. And guess what she never found? Love like that. And all you have to do as a parent is to say, I love you because you're lovable. And all your life you'll find love like this love because you're worth it. So it's little tiny adjustments that have the most profound effect on people. And it's never too late to say, I'm enough, I can find love. And now if you give someone the power to make you feel good, you give them the power to make you feel bad. And if you do it to yourself, you feel so much better. makes you slightly bulletproof. You still need other people. We all need other people. But the dialoguing with yourself and starting with I'm enough, I picked that because I found all my clients addicts, bingers, bulimics, saboteurs, hoarders, compulsive shoplifters. They all went back to the same thing. I'm not enough. I need more. And if you feel enough, you start to feel equal. See, most of us feel unequal. You're better than me because you've got money, or you're more attractive than me. But no dog or cat says, oh, you're better than me because you're a pedigree. A baby doesn't know that another baby's wearing designer clothes and they're not. They have no concept of that. So really what I'm enough is doing is reactivating, remanifesting and regenerating what you were born with, an ability to say, I'm enough.
Yeah, it's interesting. So part of, I think, what happens is, obviously, when a baby is born, they're lacking the sort of critical faculties to navigate the world. Yeah. So, and this is, I put my finger on this because I want people to understand that they're going to struggle. So it's a little bit like meditation. People think I'm doing it wrong because they think there's some magical right that other people are doing and they're not doing it. Like when you start repeating this stuff in your head, I think people will say to themselves, what do you mean you're not worthy? You bought your stuff at Target. Like you're not significant,
we have a critical
whatever.
Voice.
Right. So learning that that's a thing and that's going to happen. That's a part of a normal human brain. It's designed to keep you safe and alive. It's not designed to propel you forward. So, but there are, once you understand, I mean, this is your language. Once you understand how the brain works, then you can go in and begin to tinker with some of this stuff to get where you want to go. Now, the tinkering part is what I want to get your take on. I'll use myself as an example. So I have experienced things that have given me the story that I have a bad memory. Okay. I recognize it as a story, but it's so fucking compelling because the evidence from the time that I was a little kid just seems irrefutable. So, okay, but I understand the mind well enough to know, hey, I'm screwing myself over here. I'm repeating it, which is making it worse, self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay. Jim Quick tells me, Tom, you have to stop saying that. I see you today. You're like, look, you have to stop saying that. And so I totally buy that I have to stop saying it, but I've known that for a long time. And I'm an ultra diligent, disciplined person. But for some reason, I haven't worked up the desire to see that one through. Now, because I have enough self-awareness, I can guess at the reason. The biggest reason that I'm hesitant is like, okay, look, my energy units are finite. So getting a good memory is going to be difficult. And do I want to put the time and the energy into this, yes or no? Because it's an allocation of time resources. So when I think about how far I've gotten, despite the fact that I have a bad memory, it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal to immediately address. So all I want to convey with this is that sitting in neutral, it won't just happen.
No, you have to want it.
Correct. So that's my very
Some
question.
People don't, they go, no, I like being ill. It meets all my needs.
But how do you get people to build that desire? Because I get asked that question a lot.
Okay, so, most people that come to me don't go, hey, I've come to see you, but I don't want to give up my problem. I mean, they do with food. They go, I want to be super healthy. Okay, you're going to stop eating donuts. I don't want to do that. Have you got anything else? I'm like,
there's a difference between I don't want to do one thing and I want to do it, but I'm not sure I have the energy to see it through. But you see, the belief is what you're saying is it's work, so much work. It's no work. So what I would suggest for someone like you is just monitor how you speak. Oh, I forgot that. I got a terrible memory. I got that. I didn't miss that. I got a terrible memory. And start to say, I have a phenomenal memory. I have an outstanding memory. I have a reliable, foolproof memory. So I saw it with my daughter when she was little. She'd leave the house and come back because she had so much to remember, her school bag and her swimming stuff and her lunch. And I'd always say, what have you remembered? She goes, I remembered my lunch. I remembered my swimming. I go, that's so great that you remember. And very quickly she went from, oh, forgotten, I've got to go home. My mum's going to be really cross to, no, my memory's great. At the gate it told me, school lunch, school coat. And of course, if you go to any kid's classroom, you'll see coats and bags. They forget everything. And we never go, well, it's the memory, you see. It disappears with age. And I've been people of 90 who can tell you everything about their childhood and what it was like in the war.
So you have to just make a decision to tell yourself, I have an outstanding, reliable, phenomenal, incredible, impressive, foolproof, big words, of course, because you want to excite you. And if you say it enough, your mind's job is to give you that memory, and then stop saying, what have I forgotten? Say, what have I remembered? And then something else you do is just say, that will come to me. You know, you have to understand the mind a bit. So when you're dealing with a conscious mind, the subconscious doesn't do anything. If you're saying, what's the name of that book or that restaurant? Oh, I don't know. I give up. I've got terrible memory. You suddenly goes, oh, it's come into my head. It was this book. It was the Tim Ferriss book. I remember now. Because you've given your mind an instruction. What is the name of that book? Your mind will go and find it. But if you are still actively looking, it doesn't do it. So we have something called command therapy. You've got to command your mind. Go ahead and remind me where my passport is. Remind me. And so often it's just really poor communication. You know, people say, oh God, I'm flying to London tonight and I can never fall asleep on a plane. I just can't go to sleep. We're like, well, where are you going? You don't go anywhere. You don't fall. You lie on the plane and you invite sleep to come to you. You go, I'm lying here. My eyes are heavy and sleep's descending upon me like a mist. Because it's a misdirect of the mind, because you don't fall and you don't go. But when you say sleep's coming to me, and when I'm in different time zones all over the world, I lie in bed and go, right, sleep now. Send sleep to me now. I insist on 8 hours of sleep. I need 8 hours. And I tell my mind what I want. But I am very clear, very specific, but not, can I fall asleep? I need to, look at it, I've got to get up in 5 hours. Now I'm stressed. I just give my mind very clear instructions. You do have to train yourself a bit, but if you use those words, my memory is impressive and infallible, your mind knows what that looks like and it will make it real. If you just go, I need a better memory, that's not exciting. So excite it with powerful words and you won't be surprised, or you might, how much better it gets. But you've got to give up this belief that it's work. Because talking to yourself isn't work. Exciting your mind isn't work. Going to the gym is work. But saying every day as you get up, I've got a great memory. I can even imagine my diary and I can see what's in it. If you tell yourself that, it actually really becomes true, and you'll notice that everyone who's got a good memory will say, my memory's amazing. Oh, I have the best memory ever. They never go, I've got a mind like a sieve. I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. I would forget the eyes in my head if they weren't there. But people with a poor memory, they justify it. They remind themselves how bad it is instead of deciding, no, I'm going to have a great memory. Check out my next video here. Anyone notice that as that day comes around, they're sick? Because here's how the mind works. You say, oh my God, I volunteered to chair that meeting. I must have been out of my mind. I'd die if I've got to go on stage. I don't want to do that. And your brain's like, leave that with me. Now next Wednesday.